From Tom Fury, Zero News. You may know that. No, sorry. Sorry. The reason I actually stalled them was I was just thinking of a Zen parable of these two monks, and I thought, should I tell them that? And I thought you would sound like a right twat if you do. So I stopped myself. I'm glad I did. Um, I'm not editing that out. No, I actually just wanted to say to a smaller percentage of people, like the Paul Thorpe interview happened, it's over and it's done, and then fortunately a couple of things worked out and it went to bins and it's done, and they've all spoken and whatever else. Nobody's mates, um, nobody's friends. They've just had a good old. We've all just had a good old whatever. Uh, Let off steam or whatever you want to call it. Um, I've got a tiny bit more respect just for the very fact that well, from my point of view anyway, he came and did that, and he came and he took the plaque, and held himself well, you know. So what's not to respect about that? Like people, and the reason I'm saying this is because people are like, there's people out there saying, why would you ceasefire with him? Here's why. I don't know him personally. I don't know anything about him personally, which means I don't know. As far as I know, he's committed no crimes, and he's committed no wrongdoings that I could prove in a million years, and he's never done anything to me personally. So why would I? Why would my problem with him was? Well, I've already stated my problems with him in other videos. I don't need to go through it all again. So if I don't know someone personally, or have some kind of evidence or belief, real strong belief that I could get some kind of evidence to suggest that they were a really terrible person, well, that's different. But that's not the position I'm in, not even close. You know, all I've got is rumours and things that people say and videos that they play me in, but nothing you could make a. You know, I could. You know, I don't know as many people as perhaps people think. Yes, I work with Tommy, but I've never met Paul. I've never met any of these people, and they've never done anything directly wrong to me. So I'm sorry if it disappoints some people, and I'm sorry if you know, and if other people think that I'm in bed with Paul, which is absolutely not true. You know, we were, you know, it was nice that we were cordial to each other, you know, at the end, and he has been a gentleman to me after the fact in email. But you know, it doesn't make you friends shouting at each other for 2.5 hours, does it? You know, get real. I'm probably never going to hear from him again. So it's just silly to think that. And at the same time, why am I going to keep going after him when personally he's not done anything to me, and I don't know of any crime that he's committed that anyone has got any evidence to. You know, if they did, or if I was sure of it, you know, it was totally different. But I don't know him, and I don't know of him doing anything like that, and he's not done it to me. Um, if you're out there, any of you have asked that, or if he has done something to you, then I understand where you're coming from. And so just so you know, I'm not in that club, and if I knew about any of that stuff, maybe I'd be in a totally different headspace. But I don't. Yeah, there's a lot of things that people assume that I know in this movement, but I don't. I've always said I don't watch other people's videos, and up until recently, I really don't. So I have to actually ask my viewers a lot about what happens in this movement. It's only recently I've been watching them, and look at the result. Look at the result. End up bloody falling out with everybody. So that's actually one of the reasons why for 6.5, 7 years I didn't watch any other creators' videos. And I'm going back to not watching any other creators' video, maybe a few, but you know what I'm saying. For that very reason, and for echo chamber reasons. But yeah, if you've got some kind of real personal gripe with him, if he's done something wrong to you, genuinely, and I am sorry, you know, if I had, you know, if I knew something or was part of that, then I would support you. But I'm not, and if something's genuinely been wrong to you, then I hope you get the justice. I really mean that. Just, you know, please don't ask me to know things like I don't know. You know, and you know, take a side based on that, because That's not fair. I just know I've fallen out with him politically, and for the other reasons that I've stated in my videos. And in the future, will I ever make a video about him again? Maybe. But if I do, it'll probably be political. And it won't be anything like what it has been, you know? But it would be political, and it would be, you know, a lot of them were political, but I mean purely political. And it'd be, I think it would be further down the line, not for a while. Because I've had to sit and think about all this as well. What was I trying to get out of this? What was I, you know, what was the point? And the point was, I didn't come back for this. I left the movement after 5 years of being in it. I didn't come back for this. I didn't come back to make videos about other YouTubers. If I was doing satire or something like Dino Bain does, it'd be a bit different, because they're actually entertainment to even people that don't know the person. But with me, it's different. The type of videos I make are different. So I didn't come back to make videos about other YouTubers, and I don't want to see other YouTubers' content. I want to go back to doing what I did, which was worry about my own. And yeah, so I can't hate on a man for what I don't know that he has or hasn't done. So I'm sorry to those people if they feel let down. But again, if I knew something, I'd be right there with you. But I don't. So how can I be? And again, for those people that think we're in bed together, it's stupid. We'll probably never speak again. But, you know, I think, like I say, I came back because of Dave Rudy Cabana. He brought me back. That one motherfucker brought me back from leaving this movement. And then what's continued it has been, obviously, the direction that we're almost completed in going now into the wall that we're heading towards. And I got away from that, because it doesn't matter whether I like Paul Thorpe or whether, you know, yes, there's things I still believe in. And, you know, I believe a lot of things that I said politically, absolutely. I think I was right on a lot of things I said politically, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. But at the end of the day, my attention should be on so much more important things. Paul Thorpe is not the biggest threat to our fucking country by a country mile, not even close. He's just a guy. And there's so many more people I should be worrying about, focusing on, and trying to tear to pieces in a serious way. You know, because we all know what problems we've got. And I think this is where people, the audience, I hope, have finally got as well. For the most part, except for a few people, I think they just want the country sorted now. So I said this weeks ago, we're supposed to be servants of the audience. And so we should be trying to move forward. We should be, if we're not listening, then we're failing. All of us I'm talking about. If we're not listening to you and moving forward, then we're failing. So, and again, unless I can convict him of a crime or something, then I've got to do what I actually came back for, which is just try to help in any way that I can, and try to cover the things that I can, and try to just do everything I can to make things just a little bit better, even if that's just entertaining you, you know. But at other times, you know, the activism and where you can actually make a physical, actual difference rather than just standing in the street, even better. You know, those times are unfortunately not enough, but we still do them anyway, don't we? So, you know, I do have a respect for Paul Thorpe for coming and doing that. Yeah, definitely. I think that's just like the verbal equivalent of getting into a boxing room with someone. Regardless of whether you win or lose, you're just going to have a respect for someone. And same thing here. And realising that, like I say, whether we get on or not over other things, he's not an evil man, is he? You know, whatever is yeah, okay, you saw the mask slip and you see the real man, just like I show that side of me in front of the camera and he shows it behind. He's politer. He's more professional than me. Yeah, when he got angry the other day on with Vin's, what I'm referring to, when he was on Vin's, he got really, really angry. And then you did see him swear like he normally would. But that's just your professional face disappearing. And he just dropped his professional face. And I just don't bother wearing a professional face. And I think he's kind of got the better idea, personally. I think, it's how he's got his channel so big. So, yeah, there is a grudge and respect, but it doesn't mean I'm now his super friend or something, or that I think that I definitely believe everything he says, or that his politics is spot on, or that I totally believe that he's back and restore either, because all those things remain to be seen. All I know is that I'm talking about me here, I'm on the wrong track. Not always. I mean, I looked back and thankfully not every video's been about him. Otherwise I would have been really disappointed. But we've covered a lot of ground. But that's what I'm saying. So now it's time to let me go and cover that other ground. And again, that's not, most people are already there. Yeah, you're already there with me. But I'm just talking about a few that don't seem to understand why. And who've asked why. Because I didn't come back for this. I didn't come back to make videos about Paul Thorpe or any other YouTuber, to be quite frank. Because in the scale of things, YouTubers are nothing. None of us are. We're all just wank stains when it comes down to it. Because we're YouTubers. Together, we're more. Because then we become a group of people that matter, maybe. But only when you help us. That's what I mean. You see what I'm saying? It's a collective effort. So to make that work, we've got to all be focused on the right things. And I know some of you may say, oh yeah, well we tried to tell you that ages ago. Yeah, but you don't understand that these things needed to be sorted out first. And now they are. I hope for those few that just, again, if you've been genuinely grieved, I'm with you. And I hope you get whatever justice, if that is the case. I really do. I really do, and I mean that. I just don't know, I don't know enough to be able to empathise with you about something I don't know about, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's the best way I can explain it. Anyway, this is the last video I'm doing to explain anything, so please, no more. I'm Tom Fury. This is Zero News. I'm calling Dave for now.